Hey friends, welcome to the webinar for Heather Lane. Just getting a couple of things set up here. Give a second for people to join in, but I definitely like to start on time because your time is very valuable. So give me just a second here. We'll get a couple things set up and then we'll get rolling. Okay, looks like everything's working. All right. All right, friends, again, thank you so much for attending the Heather Lane Project Investor webinar. I am super excited for this opportunity specifically for a lot of reasons. And I'm really excited to tell you about this. First of all, you notice this property is in Portland, Oregon. I've had a lot of people ask me, I thought you said you don't invest in Portland. Well, this property is very unique in that it is a condo conversion. So we're going to literally sell these units. We're not going to rent them out, right? So, and we'll talk more about the specifics of that in a minute. But the nice thing about that is, you don't have to worry about the whole landlord tenant friendly thing. It's pretty straightforward because we're selling this product, this property. This is a picture of the property in the background. It is currently a 16 unit for rent property that is going to get converted into condos. Before we get too deep into it, a quick little disclaimer here, right? So I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA, I'm definitely not your CPA. And this is not an offer to sell securities, right? You've got to read the PPM and do your due diligence and make your own investment decisions when it comes right down to it. All right, so first thing I want to talk to you guys about is why Portland, right? And what the problem is there. I'm not a read the slide kind of guy, but the crux of it is Portland houses are very expensive, and these houses are pretty expensive just in general, right? And there's not a lot of inventory, and most people they really can't afford to have to buy a house, especially when we're talking like median income type of people. These people that make $50,000 to $80,000 a year, they just simply can't afford to buy a 500 or a $600,000 house, which is what these houses are going for, right? So the whole goal of this is really to take something and create an affordable community. And that is something that I'm very, very, very proud to be able to work on with my buddy John, who just joined us here. I'll introduce him a little bit more in a few minutes. But to be able to take a apartment building and now be able to sell it to somebody that couldn't afford housing just really makes my heart feel good. And we'll get into returns and things like that in a few minutes, but if you go and look at like typical investment funds that are to help people out, right? There's a word for it. I'm losing that word right now. Impact funds, that's the word I was looking for. Sorry. They don't typically have a great return. This one, which we'll get to in a minute, has a lot of great returns, right? So, how are we solving this problem? Well, this is John's area to shine here. My buddy John is an expert in condo conversions. He buys these properties at extremely low basis because he has such a great relationship with the nonprofits. He gets to buy them here. And then what he does is he renovates them so that they can become single family style houses, condos, in other words. And he goes through the legal process to convert them to condos. And then he's able to sell each one individually. But this is where it gets really great, you guys. He's locking it in on multiple levels that these are always going to have to be sold to low income families, people that are at that 80% of AMI. And he's the expert in this, but he does it on the deed level and on the HOA level, and he just locks it in so that these are always going to be sold to people that are living in the property. They're not going to ever become rentals again. And all the future buyers have to qualify for this as well. So I think this is a good opportunity just to introduce John. So John Lane is a great friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and we're getting closer and closer on a daily basis. He's absolutely a stud, and he has coined the phrase compassionate capitalism. And I'm honored to work with him. He's done several of these deals. I'll tell you a couple examples in a few minutes of some of the deals he's done. But John, do you want to just pop on here and introduce yourself just real quick and tell all of our friends a little bit about yourself and your background?
Hey there, thank you, Senate. I appreciate it. Yes, we started this idea of compassionate capitalism about 25 years ago. I've been in real estate investing for 38 years. I've done almost $200 million in my own deals with my name on the title, and I saw that started becoming this resource extraction business model, right? Prettier countertops, nicer bathroom, landscaping, like really low hanging fruit, and then charging $250 more a month. And I just didn't feel good about that. I wanted to help people. I think home ownership is the backbone of the US economy. And I wanted very much to help young families buy their first house and make a difference instead of always being beholden to a landlord. I wanted to help families become wealth building machines, legacy building machines. And that's started about 25 years ago. And I've been doing it ever since.
Fantastic, John. Thank you for that color. And you've really mastered this process, this solution, right? Which is not something, I've done a ton of real estate as well and, raised lots of money and worked on projects all over the country. But this is something that you've really got to have an expert to be able to do. And you are that expert, John. So I'm really glad to be working with you on this.
I love working with you. Uh, like I also investing with you. It's been a good friendship. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about the property specifically. Let me introduce you to Heather Lane. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the call, it's a 16 unit property right now. Average square footage of each unit, 774 square feet. It is in Portland and in a great area of Portland. It is currently fully occupied, so there's cash flow coming in. The average rent, as you can see, is $1,600 per unit. But one of the nice things about this is when these people buy this property or the units, when they buy the condos, their mortgage is going to be roughly approximately the same as their rent, within a few percentage points, which really the point of that is so that these people can afford to live in the property, and that's something that's really important. Now
We
they won't all be in that property, right? So some of them they have to leave, right? And so John's built into this model a really good um, like incentive for those people that either A don't qualify or they're not ready yet. I think it's something like $5,000 you pay for these people to move. Is that right, John?
Yeah, it's a real. And so we give them two options. One, we will help with the down payment assistance so that they can buy, or if they choose not to purchase, we help them with relocation. And it's across the board $5,000 every single time. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty generous relocation. We know that we're uprooting these families, and because of the nonprofits that we work with, we know that they're moving into a better building every single time. There's no doubt about it. So it helps the families. They get to move into a nicer place if they choose not to buy, or we give them 20%. We help them with 20% of down payment if they want to buy, and that's that rent to mortgage parity piece that you were talking about.
That's so generous and so great. Hey, I just realized there's been a couple people join us since I said this. If you have any questions as we're going through this, pop them into the chat, and John or I will get them answered for you. So feel free to put any questions you have in there. Let me show you a couple pictures. This property is already in really good shape. You know, this it's really decent, really nice countertops, good appliances, good floors. As the previous slide said, it already has really good bones. So there's not a ton of work that needs to be done. There's some, right? But because these people are going to own it, we got to get it to ownership level rather than rental level. But it's a pretty light turn all in all.
It,
I spent, go ahead, John.
yeah, it had about $200,000 worth of electrical and another 180 in plumbing done last year. And so the plumbing, the pipes, the systems of the building are doing really well. Plus, it's got a 50-year metal roof on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about how condo conversion works. This is a process that we've really got to understand to really get into this, right? So, you know, we buy this property, as you can see here on the slide, for 2.2 million. There's about, you know, as you can see in here, about $1 million that has to get put into it to make it again sellable quality. And then we go through that legal conversion process, right? And so what this is doing is literally it's like making um, each building, each unit, right? So sorry, each unit kind of like its own parcel, and it can be sold just like a single family house. And what blew me away on this is, you know, that the amount of profit that can be made by doing this is absolutely phenomenal. And and we can sell these units significantly below the comparative sales price and still turn a profit. So again, back to that compassionate capitalism that John talked about earlier, you know, we could do this condo conversion and probably sell these on the retail market for, I don't know, John, you probably know the number, but 325, 350, something like that. But we
325, 300 would be an easy number to get.
Yeah. And so, but that's not what we're going to do, right? We're going to sell them around the 280,000 price point. Again, to help these people buy a home. That's really what it's about. And then yet still give you, the investor, a great return. This slide is the sources and uses. I'm not going to dive into it too much. If any of you want to talk about it in more detail, I'd be happy to go through it. But you can see here everything matches. Here's all the costs, where the money's going, and what it's for. But what you really want to know, how do you get paid, right? So as you've probably seen in my emails getting you to this webinar, this is going to pay you a 15% annual cash on cash return, and it's paid monthly. And it's going to that paid monthly is going to start shortly after all these investments are deployed. I don't have the exact date, but it could be in April, could be the first part of May. We just got to get everything kind of going to get to that point. But pretty much month one, you're going to get 1.25% per month. So a $100,000 investment really looks like $1,250 a month back to you. Now, this is a projected to be a 16-month project, but I want you to plan on it being, you know, up to 18 months just in case. But you'll continue to get paid that 1,250 that whole time. And then when it's all said and done, you get all your money back, all your capital back. And then, of course, the payments stop at that point, but then we can obviously help you redeploy that into another project. You know, we do a lot of projects, but again, 16 months, and you can read the math here. That comes out to be approximately a 20% total return to you in 16 months, right? So you put $100,000 in, you're going to get $120,000 back, paid to you on a monthly basis, which I don't know about you, but I love cash flow. And so that was one of the biggest perks for me personally as an investor into this deal, to be able to see that I can get that kind of cash flow on a consistent basis. So we're going to talk a little bit more about, you know, the sales strategy. We expect the first property, the first condo, to be ready within 4 months. And then we'll sell approximately 1 unit a month after that, hence how we get to that month 16 time frame. All right, a little bit more on returns, really
And
just how this breaks out.
the,
John, sorry, do you have a comment?
Yeah, can I speak to the time frame a little bit?
Please.
Okay, so generally speaking, it's about 4 months to figure out relocation, right? Who's going to buy, who's qualified to buy, who's going to relocate. So that's a 4 month window, and then renovation is also in that same time frame, a 4 month window. And ideally, we start selling the first units in that fifth month. And
Yeah.
if everything goes well, 16 units, we're done in that short period of time. If things go slow, and we are in a slower real estate market right now, so I would still be cautious about 18-month transaction. Like,
Okay.
set really reasonable expectations. We're telling our investors that this could last as long as 24 months, although that seems unlikely.
Yeah. Okay. So then make your investment decision based on 2 years. And we'll try to get it done sooner than that. That sounds
Yeah.
like a great way to make that. But
If it
again, you're going to
if,
get paid, you, the investor, you're going to get paid that whole time. And so that's what this slide is, a little bit more about the returns. So if it is 16 months, right? This is what these numbers are based on. You get your 15% annual return, which again in 16 months comes out to a 16% IRR or 1.2 equity multiple, right? But John, if it goes 24 months, we're going to pay them the whole 24 months, right?
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if it goes over, you make more money.
You make more money. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a win-win in that regard. And the other thing is on this slide, there's lots of risk mitigation built in. As we talked about, really conservative assumptions. We could sell these units for 40, 45, $50,000 more than we're selling them for now. There's tons of reserves that John's built into these. You can see 4 months interest reserves. So, literally there could be no income coming in for 4 months and we still pay all the bills, no problem. And then the phase sales actually really helps this business model. If it all sold at once, we wouldn't, I mean, we'd make more money in different ways or faster, but it wouldn't work out to be in this model. So that really helps with those phased approaches.
And
Now,
the
go ahead,
other
John.
is because of we work with about 2 dozen different nonprofits. We have buyers waiting to buy, right?
Right.
So these are pre-approved, pre-vetted buyers waiting to purchase. We already have a good idea of who they are, how much they can afford, and that's all because of the nonprofit partnership we have with Portland Housing Center. Like, this is not a rep. Other people could not do what we do because they don't have the partnerships we have. And that makes us a lot more confident in the sellability of these units.
Yeah. And that ties right into your track record, which is the next thing, right, that I really want to talk about. Here's just some information about the stuff that John's already done and how many units he's converted, how long he's been in the industry, how many doors he's owned over time. Here's a couple examples of deals that he's done right there in Portland. And I really love just these valuations. Just look at this, right? A 15 unit deal bought for 900, put 270 in it. So that's 1,170,000, right? There's his cost basis basically. And you see here this after repair value of $4.5 million. What is that, like 3 times? That's
Three,
amazing.
yeah, 2 points. Yeah,
Yeah, it's phenomenal, blows my mind, right? And so this next one is also really good. Buy for 1.5 million. You can see right here, put $2 million in it, and now that's a $5.7 million valuation.
yeah.
And
We
now, go ahead,
we
John.
we've doubled. So this is Heather Lane will be our eighth condo conversion in the last 3 years, and we've doubled the value of every single property we've bought in the last 3 years. All eight of all seven previous transactions doubled in value in less than 18 months.
Yeah, phenomenal track record, and not only the fact that John's a really good guy, but this track record just proves that he can do what he says he's going to do. And he's helped tons of families already. And so I'm just honored to work with him on it. But it's not just John either, right? So he has a team of people. John's here that we're talking about. You can see his experience here. Cindy is the CFO and operations director, and she's just a powerhouse, absolutely phenomenal. Keeps all of the everybody in line and make sure that all the transactions are going through and make sure that everything, is on budget and on time. And she's just great at that. And Lucas, he helps with all the capital markets and capital structures and things of that nature. So great team of people here behind this organization. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, so let's start wrapping this up. We're getting close to the end, actually. I mean, I planned an hour for this, you guys, but maybe I talked too fast. I don't know. But if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. We will get them answered. So let's talk through this a little bit. This is really a win-win-win, right? So as we talked about the families, they can now go from renting to owning at approximately the same amount of their rent. One of the biggest problems nationwide is the discrepancy between what it costs to rent a unit and what it costs to buy a unit. I think that number is something like $900 spread or difference nationwide. So I don't know about you and your family, but my kids, they can't buy a house. And this is going to help them do it. As it says on the slide, they can build equity and wealth and just have stability, right? There's the pride in owning this house. The house I'm in right now, I own it. I still have to pay a mortgage to the bank, but I own it and I'm building equity all the time. And I'm very proud of that. Now, what about you, the investor? 15% cash on cash, like we talked about. It's a pretty quick turn. This says 12 to 18 months, but as we talked about earlier, the plan is 16 months, but you should make your decision based on 24 months. And it's still backed by a hard asset, right? You can literally walk up and touch it. I put the address on here earlier. You can go and Google it. You can go to this building. You can literally see that this is there. So it really protects your capital. And then it helps the community, right? Increases home ownership, which in my opinion lowers crime rates. Yeah, stable communities for residents, and they can really have pride in their community. Thus, raises the tide for everybody. And so I love it. All right, one more summary slide. Your minimum investment, $25,000. I don't know of any other deal that you can put $25,000 in and get 15% return. I do a deal a month, right? I do these all the time, 10 to 12 a year. I have now done 43 deals where I have taken investors' money and helped them invest. And I've never seen 25,000 and 15% interest. Just never seen it. It is a 506c deal, so you do need to be an accredited investor. If you don't know if you're an accredited investor and how to qualify for that, I'd be happy to jump on a private call with you and go through this one step at a time. Um, the timeline, so to wire the money to me, just so you guys know, I need that money wired to me by the 20th. So we've got 9 days to get all your questions answered and things of that nature. I do have a little tiny bit of flexibility there, but I've got to get all my paperwork done and get that money over to John so we can close this deal. So, with that said, let's wrap this up. Here's all of my contact information. If you need to get a hold of me, if you scan this QR code right here, it'll literally take you to my investor portal and you can sign up a soft commit and read the PPM and all the deal disclosures. This is where you're going to actually see the securities offering is on this scan to invest QR code. So with that, let me look, see if I have any questions. No questions. John, did I miss anything, buddy?
I think we're good. The I'm looking forward to working with you. Like I don't know, we've been talking about this for a long time. I'm super excited about just working with you. I can find the deals and do the deals. I'm not as good at capital raising as you are.
Oh, buddy, we're going to do a lot of deals together. And for those of you on this webinar, be on the lookout for more deals with John just like this, highly profitable, compassionate capitalism, impact style investing. Very excited. Awesome. All right, friends. Again, scan this QR code when you're ready to invest, and we will talk to you soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to me. Phone call, email, whatever's best for you. Bye, friends.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.